I'm always glad to be invited to speak at a graduation, especially when there's a graduation for youth, for young people, starting out into their future, beginning to look for their first jobs, beginning to think about establishing families and so forth. So I'm very glad to be here. And more so because what you have done to be able to receive the certificates that you receive today is very important for the work of my ministry. As the Master of Ceremonies has said, my ministry is involved with employment, which is what you're looking for right now. You want to be employed after this. And employment for what? Employment for productivity, so that the country can produce more. And when we produce more, we can do more for the people in our country. And thirdly, industrial relations. So what you've done so far is very important for us. My ministry, we have a focus on decent work and employment growth. So one of the things that we're targeting, we're trying to see how we can get more people usefully and gainfully employed so they can do things for the benefit of their own families. And in my ministry, one of the major focus, one of the things that we're trying to do in working with all our stakeholders is to try to see how we can get more and more people employed and earning a livelihood for themselves, so that they can look after their own families and they don't have to rely on somebody else to do the things that need to be done for themselves. So generating employment growth is very, very critical for my ministry. One of the things that we also focus on, we want to make sure that as many as people in this country as possible have a good quality of life. It's no use enjoying everything in life and then falling sick so that you cannot get the full benefits of all the things that are available to you. So my ministry and government as a whole is focused on a good quality of life. Third thing that my ministry is very important, this is going to be very important for you graduating students. We want to be sure that when you join the workforce, you work in a place where you are safe. Have you heard of the term occupational health and safety? Have you heard of that? Is that part of your curriculum and what you are taught? Yes, that's very important for my ministry. You want to be sure that when you go to work, you work in a place that is safe. And this is very important for you because our statistics show that more than 50%, more than half of all the people that get injured in the workplace are those within the ages of 20 to 30. I think all of you are between the age of 20 to 30, yeah? I think most of us up here are beyond that age group. Half of those getting injured in the workplace are in your particular age group. So that is very critical for us. The last thing that we want to do in my ministry is to ensure social justice. What does social justice mean? Social justice means that the things that people should get, that they actually get it. Our legislation and laws say your minimum wage should be this much. My ministry has to make sure that if the law says somebody is entitled to something, that they actually get what they're entitled to. Right? I hope that's understandable. Social justice is very important to us. In all the things that I've talked about, one of the critical things that this country needs is to people to go through the kinds of programs that you've gone through. And that is technical and vocational education and training. You've gone through this particular program where you've done your certificate 2s. Why is this important? Because in this country today, there is a huge mismatch. There is a huge gap between what employers want and what they are getting. There are huge shortages in all the different kinds of skills that are needed in order for our country to continue growing. That's why your role is very critical. Because hopefully, with the certificate 2s that you are getting out of the technical colleges, you will begin to address those skill gaps and those skill shortages. We have found over the past few years, and I'm sure that the Higher Education Commission has been talking about this in other forums, that there is a gap. There are too many people that are working in jobs that do not match their talents, and employers have difficulty finding people with the right skills. And now I know this is one of the reasons why the technical college was put into place in the first place. First of all, to try to develop the skilled workforce that the employers need, and secondly, to give opportunities for our young. Opportunities for young is very critical because we have a growing youth population. This is one of the reasons why government has put the retirement age. Do you know what the official retirement age is for people working in government? What? 55. Why is it 55? So we can give opportunities for the young like you to come up and get absorbed into the workforce. I give you some, I was invited to address the apprenticeship graduation last year. Apprentices are people that do the kinds of training that you do, but they're employed by large companies. While I was doing this, getting ready for this graduation, I went to the Department of Immigration and I asked them, give me some statistics on the kind of areas in which you are giving work permits for workers to come from offshore, from other countries to come to work in Fiji. So in the period from 2015 to 2017, I read out the kind of work permits that were given out by the Department of Immigration. Assistant chefs. You know what chefs are? What do? Do they wash clothes or what do? They cook, eh? They cook. Assistant chefs, 13. Bakers, 20. Chefs, 394. That means we didn't have enough chefs here. They had to go to other countries and get 394 to come and cook in our country. Builders, 32. Carpenters, 177. Construction workers, 224. Tilers, people who lay the tiles. Oh, we don't have tiles here. No, people who are laying the tiles. They got in 70 from other countries. Welders, 70 from other countries. So these numbers are telling you that there's a big demand out in industry for people with skills and with competencies. This morning, before I got here, I was just looking at the numbers for 2018. What are the areas in which the Department of Immigration is giving out work permits? I don't think you do any programs for seamen. Eh? You don't do it in the seamen, people who sail. Okay. For seamen, Rando Sokewai, crew of the ships and engineers and so forth, they have given out 67 work permits. That means we are not producing enough people that have been trained to go sail on the ships. 67 for seamen. For chefs and for cooks and sous chefs and baking and patisserie chefs and so forth, 42 work permits have been given. And for the construction sector, 39 work permits have been given. So I think the gist of what I'm trying to say is there are opportunities out there for you. The establishment of this technical college was to make sure that we can produce people like you who meet the needs out there in the industries. That's what the technical college is designed to do, to address these skill shortages. So I'm absolutely confident that the technical college is addressing the basic skill level that is required in industry. Of course, when you get into industry, you know, when you are taught a skill, you do not become a competent, skilled tradesperson in your institute. It is not possible to produce somebody in an institute who is perfectly skilled in what is needed. You will have to fine-tune your skill where? In the workplace. The workplace is the place that you begin to fine-tune so you actually meet the exact requirements of what the organization needs. This is how we train doctors. Where do doctors learn their real skill? It's not in the lecture theaters, by working in the hospitals. Right? Dina, nurses too. Where do they fine-tune their skills? By working in the hospitals. So for you, I think for all the graduates today when you receive a certificate, a door has been opened for you. A door has been opened for you. How far you go in life depends on how you walk through that door. Some of us might just walk through the door and sit down and just expect everything to be hunky-dory after that. My message to you doesn't happen like that. We have to fine-tune our skills by what we learn in the workplace. We have to learn from mentors. We have to find people that are experts in the areas in which we are looking for a career and learn of them and absorb from them. And when we do that, and when we dedicate ourselves to that sort of in-house type training, then we'll become a complete person, a complete worker. Some of these. So I think in just saying those statements, I think I need to walk back, step back a bit and say to all of you, all of the graduates here, you look lovely in your red and is it brown, yellow? You look lovely because it looks like the colors of the Crusaders rugby team, and I'm a Crusaders fan. So you look really lovely to me in all the outfits that you have. So for all of you, congratulations. Give yourselves a hand. Give yourselves a hand. Why do I congratulate you? I congratulate you for the determination to get to the end and to receive the certificates, and the desire to do something with your lives, so for the betterment of your own life and also for you to be able to contribute to your country. Congratulations for your hard work, and congratulations for thinking long term, for thinking what you want to achieve for your own families. I was listening to the numbers. I think for the Western colleges, we have more than 800 people graduating, and tomorrow for the Central, we'll have more than 400, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a great number, 1,200 people from the Central and the West being made available to the industries of this country. Not only for the industries, but perhaps some of you might want to think of starting your own business in the future. So I congratulate you, and I think you need to congratulate everybody sitting on the sides, because these are the people who gave you your support. So come on, congratulate and thank them for all the support that they gave. The government, the Fiji First government and the Bainimarama government has played a lot of emphasis, has prioritized education. You have seen over the past few years, we've made primary school, secondary school, kindergarten and so forth, a lot of assistance going in that area for bus fares, for textbooks and so forth. And we know that around the world today, if there's one thing that all governments are looking for, it is the focus on science, technology, engineering and maths. Because most students, they run away from these subjects. They run away. They want to go to commerce or politics, and those things are important. But the world, why does the world needs people in this area? Because technology is changing so rapidly. And we need people who can understand technology, who can work with it, who can tweak it to make sure that it can serve our purposes. So I congratulate all of you. Most of you have stayed true to studying science, technology, engineering, and maths. You've done the certificate too, and I hope that more of you will be able to progress. So one day you can become engineers, or maybe academics and so forth, that maintain that focus in this area. And you've come into the trades, in the trade areas. A lot of times, sometimes I read some of the way that things people write. They always think of, sometimes people write that the trade is for the people that have not done well academically. I think that is false. That is false. Trade is very important, because without trades, you don't have people who can do. A lot of academic people, they can write and can talk. But you ask them to do, can they do or not? You trade people are the ones who do things, get things done. And that's absolutely critical for any industry, for any country in the world. Just want to tell you a few things. We need to be very careful about what's going to happen in the future. There was a great person, I can't remember what his name was. Can't remember his name. He said that the only constant in life, the only thing that does not change in life is that there will be change. Do you understand my point? The only constant in life is that there will be change. Everything will change. The language we use changes. Culture changes. Technology changes. The way we dress changes. The way that we cut our hair. When I was at school, you know this haircut that you have where you cut it very short here and you put it at the top here? We used to call that aviala. And we used to make fun of people with that haircut. But today it's fashionable. So my point is, everything changes. But what's happening in the world today is that the rate of change, the speed of change is getting faster and faster and faster. Technology changes, curriculum changes, the needs of industries all change. So when you have very fast change, it also means that the knowledge you are taught in your technical college will become out of date very quickly. You understand? Comprende? Whatever you are taught that you're getting your certificates for, remember this, in 5 years' time, maybe half of what you're taught becomes out of date. So for all of us, workers, if we want to remain relevant, what must we do? What must we do? Just sit down and cry and bite our fingers and say, oh, they didn't teach me this new thing. Is that what we should do? What should we be doing? We should keep learning. Keep learning. Keep reading. Keep learning about the new things that are happening in your industry. Remember, I told you that the technical colleges gives you a start. It opens the door. How you walk through that door depends whether you keep learning and keep reading about the latest things that are happening in your area. I'll give you some example. Today, the world, this week, our Prime Minister, do you know where our Prime Minister is this week? Somewhere in Europe, Germany, city starting with the letter of B. Anybody know? Bonn, eh? He's in Bonn discussing the COP23, which is climate change. Have you heard of climate change? Yes, the climate is changing, so there is a big emphasis in the world on making sure that we move away from the technologies that led to too much carbon being emitted and making the world hotter to technologies that reduce the amount of carbon that we put into the atmosphere. In other words, there is a focus on green technology. Have you heard that term? Green technology. So because of this focus on green technology, a lot of things will change in the world. A lot of things. I'll give an example. There will be more of a focus to stop using diesel for cars and to move to electric cars. Why do you want to stop from using diesel for cars? Because when you burn the diesel, the carbon dioxide goes out into the atmosphere and it gets trapped there and it traps the heat of the sun, so the world gets hotter. Understand, eh? There will be more focus on battery electrical operated cars. That is going to what's going to happen in the next 10, 15 years. For those of you that have done in electricity and you've studied diesel generation, there will now be more focus on renewable energy. What is renewable energy? From the sun, from the wind, all of those things. For construction, there will now be more focus on new techniques of construction, new ways of building. In terms of agriculture, there's more concern now about the impact of chemicals and pesticides on human bodies. You know, when you go to the market and you see that cabbage that looks lovely and green, very lovely. Is that the best cabbage to buy? Why? Why not? Lots of chemicals in that cabbage. True. So now there is more of a focus to moving towards organic type of agriculture. Organic agriculture. In plumbing and sheet metal, which I think you have learned, there is now more of a focus to new materials that we need to use. For baking and patisserie, around the world, there's more of a focus on combining the Western types of way of cooking with local products, the fusion. Fusion of Western ways of cooking and ingredients with local. And also with cabinet making. In all of these areas, there's more of a use on Western materials. Why I'm telling you all this? Because I think you have learned something, but for you to remain relevant in the future, you must understand what is impacting on the area in which you are working. You understand what I'm saying? That means I'm saying everybody has to be alert to make sure that you continue to be relevant. All of us need to continue to be relevant. I'm glad also that I've heard, I think from the Master of Ceremony, talking about the fact that the technical college does not only do the certificate 2, but you also do the short courses, which I think is very good, because now other people can come and learn these short courses. Just from the notes that I have, I understand that you have had short courses in Bua, Ovalau, Onoilau. Oh, that's a long way away. That's almost closer to Nuku'alofa than to Suva. Coral Island, Namosi, Serua, more than 5,000 people completing these programs, and also programs in the Coral Coast and Mana Island in hospitality sector. So my message to all of you graduates, you've done well. Congratulations. Congratulations on your achievement. As you move forward into the future, keep reading and thinking about what's going to happen to the trade and the sector where you are operating. Things are going to change. You have to keep focused on also being relevant, learning from people in the place that you're going to work, and scan the environment, make sure that you continue to learn about what's happening in the sector that you're working at. I got some information and I realized that some of you will go on to certificate 3 and certificate 4, and that is something that's very good. I understand that for cooking and baking and patisserie, you can articulate into the USP Pacific TAFE program. And for the other areas, I know that you can articulate. You can go on to certificate 3 and certificate 4 in FNU. So I urge that you continue, that you do this. And you also scan what is happening in your particular sector. And eventually, over time, you should not just be thinking about going for a job yourself, but becoming a job creator yourself. How do you become a job creator? How can somebody become a job creator? By starting their own business. You've heard of the YES program, Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme. Some of you have heard about that program? Yes? Yes. Government is encouraging youth who have good innovative ideas to get a grant of $10,000, I believe. $10,000, and you can start a business, and from that business you can begin to employ other people so that you can contribute to the economy and at the same time contribute to the development of our country. One last point that I want to tell everybody here, especially your graduates, all of the people that are graduating today. Don't set small goals. Don't set small goals. Set big goals. Why should you not set small goals? When you set a goal that I'm going to aim for this level, and if you miss, where will you be? Will you be up here or further down? Further down. If you're aiming for a target at this level, if you miss it, you'll be here. But if you set your target up here, and if you miss, where will you be? You could possibly be up here. Right? So what I'm telling everybody here, all the graduates, set big goals. Set big goals. Aim for the stars. Don't just aim for the mountaintops. Because you aim for the stars, you might miss and you might hit the moon. But you aim for the moon, if you miss, you might just hit the floor or something else. Set big goals. Believe in yourself. I'll tell you, I have a deputy secretary in my ministry. I have a deputy secretary in my ministry who started off his working career digging ditches. You know what a ditch is? Digging drains. He dug drains. He dug drains. That's what he did. He worked for the Public Works Department as a person who he dug drains. He did not finish high school. Did not finish high school. First job. Married man digging drains. Today, he's the deputy secretary in my ministry. From digging drains, did his certificates, did his diploma, acquired the competencies and so forth, and rose through my ministry to become the deputy secretary. I believe that if you set your goals high and you do something to make sure you accomplish that goal, you can become anything you want to be. Who knows? Amongst the graduates that we have here, there might be a future prime minister of this country to lead Fiji to great heights, heights that we have never seen before. I think I'm going to, don't be afraid to fail. You know, the people that don't fail are the ones who never try anything new. Right? When you don't try anything new, you just want to stay in the status quo, you will never fail. But when you fail, failure is the greatest teacher if you learn from the failure. If you try something new and you fail, that is like a gift to you to make you improve into the future. So that is the words that I'm going to tell you. I congratulate all of you. Thank you for the hard work. Welcome to the world of work. Thank you for bringing your qualities and your competencies into the industries. They're waiting there for you. When you get there, remember, it's just the opening of the door. You need to continue with your training and your development. Aim high, and we look forward to one day, perhaps, from this group, there will be a future leader of this country. So once again, congratulations to the Technical College for making the opportunity available to the young people that are graduating today. Thank you to all the family members here that have given their support. And graduates, thank you for looking for a future, for doing the hard yards, and for getting to today, and may God bless you all.